Yes, so hello everyone. A very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. Dear authors and invited guests, we welcome you to the technical session 8F. My name is Anisha, and the session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastic LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 4th World Conference on Information Systems for Business Management, ISBM 2025, Bangkok, Thailand. The fourth edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode, and the physical event was held in Bangkok, Thailand, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom yesterday and today, that is 25th and 26th of September, 2025. I hope you all will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive sessions throughout the day. In this session, we have 10 presentations. Each presenter will be given 10 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for question and answers. And on 9 minutes, I'll be raising a gentle reminder. There's another request to all the participants to please stay connected with us till the closing of the session. And if you have any update or query, then you can write it to me in the chat box. So just before we start with the session, I'd like to introduce you all to the chair for this session, Professor Wilson M. Tan. He's a professor in the Department of Science, College of Engineering, University of the Philippines, Diliman. In addition to his post in the Department of Computer Science, Dr. Tan is also currently a research fellow in the National Center of Transportation Studies. His research interests include general networking technologies as well as Internet of Things, future Internet technologies, and transportation analytics. We welcome you to the session, sir.
All right, thank you very much for those kind words, Anisha. Looking forward to a very fruitful afternoon.
Sure. So moving forward with the sessions, we'll start with it now. And I'd like to invite our very first presenter, Sajidur Rahman, with the paper titled A Case Study on an Inexperienced Team Using Waterfall for Game Development. If we have Sajidur in the meeting, you can start the presentation now.
Okay. Ma'am, am I visible?
Yes, the screen is visible. You can start.
Okay, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sajidur Rahman, and on behalf of my co-authors, I am here to present our paper titled "A Case Study on an Inexperienced Team Using Waterfall for Game Development." So this is our agenda for the presentation. Moving forward, to begin, game development is an incredibly complex process. While industry has widely adopted flexible methodologies like agile, we focused on the waterfall model. The core question was, can the rigid structured nature of waterfall actually be beneficial for a team that has very little experience? We explored this through a case study where our team developed a space invaders clone. To guide our study, we focused on three main research questions. First, how did the waterfall model help our or hinder our inexperienced team? Second, what challenges did the rigidity create, and how did we overcome them? And finally, could we introduce controlled iterations into the waterfall model to make it more adaptable? Our research is grounded in the ongoing debate between waterfall and agile methodologies. While agile is generally preferable for flexibility, especially in volatile environments, our review found that a hybrid approach combining the best of both is becoming increasingly common. Studies by LSKB, and Al-Harbi, for instance, have shown that waterfall can be effective when requirements are well defined. Our extends our work extends this idea into a specific and underexposed context of game development with a novice team. So as we can see, these are waterfall methodology. For this project, we used an iterative waterfall approach. As you can see on the slide, we followed a linear path of distinct phases from requirements and system design to implementation testing and maintenance. The key to our success was comprehensive documentation. We had detailed uh, documents for everything, which served as a clear roadmap for the entire team and helped us reduce ambiguity, scope creep, and where the project's features expand beyond the original plan. So these are the key challenges and mitigated by us, and team roles we have distributed among our team. Uh, So this is our gameplay algorithm and prototyping. Building on our structured approach, we designed a gameplay algorithm, which you can see in the flowchart on the left. This algorithm governed everything from enemy movement to scoring on the right. You can see our functional prototype here. Uh, this this was a key deliverable that proved our systematic approach was working in as intended. To put our findings in perspective, we conduct a comparative analysis of our approach against popular methodologies like Scrum and Kanban. So as this table shows, our iterative waterfall model provided a high level of planning and control, which was crucial for our inexperienced team, as we are inexperienced team in aspect of methodologies. While it was less flexible than Scrum, uh, its clear structure prevented the kind of chaos that can arise when team lacks experience. So after we took a survey among our teammates to see the pre and post project analysis of the situation among our teammates. Our analysis revealed some interesting changes from the beginning to the end of the project. In our analysis, pre-project analysis, we found a strong correlation between members' game engine experience and their overall team project experience, suggesting these skills often develop together. However, after the project, we saw a powerful correlation between team collaboration and methodological adherence, suggesting a well-defined process facilitating better teamwork. A common concern with the waterfall model is its potential to stifle creativity. As we, as you can see in this chart, we found that our most of our team members, the structures help them formalize their ideas. The clear phrases provided a framework for their creative process, though a few members did find it restrictive. In conclusion, this case study demonstrates that iterative model can be effective framework for an experienced team. The model's rigidity provided a clear roadmap, reducing ambiguity and helping us maintain project control. Our primary contribution is showing that this traditional model, when adapted slightly, can be valuable for tool for training novices and developers alike for ensuring project success and completion within time. Of course, this study was a this was a single case study, we acknowledge that a larger sample would be beneficial for future research. So these are our references. Thank you. Are there any questions?
All right, thank you very much, Sajidur. So thank you for that very concise presentation. I only have one question though, because right at your previous slide, you mentioned that the primary limitation of this study is that it consisted of, you draw the study from just a single case design. So just one team, right? Like how many students did participate in this?
10.
Sorry, how many? 10. 10. Right.
10 team members.
10 team members. So I was wondering though, did they really develop the software just for this study, or was the main project the software and this is just a byproduct of that project?
No, actually, we were planning for a course. Then we actually we had to learn Godot game engine. Then we started to think that how it will solve the planning actually, because like we most of our teammates didn't actually learn Godot game engine, which is a open source game engine. We had to learn GDScript. We had to collect free assets, open source assets for royalty free. Then this regard a lot of planning. So as it regard a lot of planning ahead of our everything we actually do, then we actually should apply a waterfall model, because if we applied Scrum or Agile or let's say Kanban, it might would have actually invited ambiguity. So this is how we actually developed it.
Wasn't So just a follow-up question, didn't you consider looping in using more groups for this study? Because as you know, as is obvious, this is the primary weakness that we only have one team, right? I mean, I have no doubts regarding your analysis, no doubts regarding your conclusion, but as you mentioned here, right, in this slide, we're talking about a single team working on a single project. So that kind of limits the overall applicability of the work. So didn't you consider, let's have three teams and you know
Actually, other teams actually suggested as a Scrum, because most of them thought that Scrum is more popular. It might help actually a real world project or other things like that, or let's say Agile, because most of the developer software company use Agile Scrum because they had to let's say deliver in small deliverables. But in case of our work, let's say developing a game, we had to actually create one deliverable. That's why we actually selected waterfall. But they other two teams actually most of they worked on, let's say, Kanban and Scrum. As far as I know, they
all
didn't
right.
actually agree with our perspective actually.
Okay. Maybe it's something that can be considered in the future because as I said,
Yes,
it's
sir.
an interesting premise. The analysis seems okay. It's just that the sample size is very small, just one team, right?
Yeah,
So
yes,
it would have been a
actually,
more impactful paper
yes,
if you use more teams, right? We have three teams or five teams, and that's my only feedback on and question with regards to this paper. Thank you very much.
oops, thank you, sir.
Are there questions perhaps from the audience? Oh, Miss Anisha, I don't think there are any more questions. So thank you to the presenters.
Thank you for the presentation, and now we'll be moving forward to the next presenter. We have Krip Shaiwong with the paper titled Developing a Line Application to Prevent COVID-19 in Pregnant Women. You may please start with your presentation.
Okay, I'm okay. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now my name is Kitchai Wong. I will present my paper entitled Developing Line Application to Prevent COVID-19 in Pregnant Women. I'm from Phetchaburi Ratchapat University, Phetchaburi, Thailand. This agenda. This today agenda, I will begin with the introduction, then present the research objectives, theoretical frameworks, methodology, result, and finally the conclusion. This introduction. Our study
Oh,
was
hi,
conducted
Krit.
in the
Sorry to interrupt, but I think we're not seeing your slide. Perhaps you're using multiple monitors, multiple screens, and sharing the wrong one to us.
okay.
We're seeing Windows Explorer.
Oh. Okay.
Something tells me that this is not your. There you go. That's the right screen. All right.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Okay. The introduction. Our study was conducted in the four stages. First, we assess the situation, needs, related factors, and facilitability. Second, we developed the line applications. Third, we implemented the quasi implementation study. And finally, we defined the effectiveness the application. This page research objective. Our objectives are first to study the situation, needs and related factor in COVID-19, prevention for pregnant women. Second, to develop a line application for this purpose. And third, to evaluate the effectiveness, the certification of the application. This page shows the theoretical frameworks. This theoretical frameworks guide on the design of study and the development of the line application. Okay, this page research methodology. We use research and development approach with four phases. Phase 1 was situation analysis. Phase 2 was application the development. Phase 3 we implementation with 50 pregnant women, and phase 4 we evaluation. In addition, 5 experts reviewed the content and design of the application. Okay, this page the application feature. Our application will provide several features, including pre and post activity quiz, learning activity, converting files main topic, COVID-19 update, and researcher contact information. Okay, this page result knowledge. The result show that knowledge score increased significantly after using the application, which means score listing from 15.3 to 18.86. This show the result behavior. Preventive behavior also improve significance, which means score increase from 3.x2 to 4.12. Result satisfactions. Overall satisfaction with high, which means score of 4.12. The highest rating given the contents and image, while the lowest was from searching convenience. Okay, this conclusion. In conclusion, the live application effectively improve knowledge and prevent seed behavior. Among placement women, certification was also high. This supports the low digital health and health takes initiative in public health. Okay, thank you.
Hi, great. Thank you very much for that presentation.
Sure.
Very succinct. So I'm not sure whether I just missed. So just for my question, okay, I'm not sure whether I missed it in the slides, but the app was tested on how many pregnant women, how many users?
Oh, how many user the user is the 15 pregnant women.
15.
50.
Do you think that is enough for
Oh,
a
50,
scientific?
50. Sorry,
50, 50, okay,
50. Okay, sorry.
50,
50.
okay. How
50.
did you source the 50 pregnant women? I mean, is it an online? Did you post it in Facebook and people signed up? Or
And in the first side and online.
I see.
Okay.
Do you have screenshots of the application so that the audience could better appreciate what the
Oh, and
application looked
now,
like?
no. And now, no.
Oh, you don't?
Application now?
All right, because we're curious to see what it looks like. I think you have one in slide 7.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Could you go to slide 7, please?
7. Yeah.
7, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So post activity, learning activities. So the purpose of the app, just so that we understand it more clearly, is it gives the women, the pregnant women, a quiz, and
Yeah.
then basically they take an online course.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be moving forward in the session to the next presenter. We have Rishikesh Manoj Golap with the paper titled Disease Prediction in Sericulture and Automation. Do we have Rishikesh in the session? Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I am Rushikesh Gholab from JSPM Rajarshi Shahu College of Engineering, Pune, from India. I am here to present our research on disease prediction in sericulture and automation on behalf of my co-authors. So here in India, we have the fields where we plant mulberry plants, and we have one silkworm rearing house where we get silkworms from some center here, where we in silkworm rearing house we keep it for this kind of 1 or 2 months. After that, silkworm makes a cocoon around itself, which is then sold to the big trade center where the silk thread is obtained from or produced from the cocoon. So how we came across this project is because back at home we basically I have in our home this sericulture process. So after coming to the college, I understood that there are many flaws, the disease prediction is done manually today, and it takes very much of the time, and due to which the 30-40% of the yield of a farmer is lost, due to which we wanted to research on this subject. So what happens? The cleanliness is the main issue in the sericulture, because in home we have the saying that the rearing home should be as clean as the temple. So even if the little bit of the uncleanliness could cause the disease of the silkworm. So as silkworm is a very delicate creature, it requires a perfect temperature and environment around it. So after uh, we do the research successfully and deploy our model, the farmer will be able to increase their yield, and there will be technological integrations which will help them to predict the disease before it damages much of their yield. So we have read many of the research paper, and we came across that uh, as I previously mentioned, the prediction of the disease or finding the disease, that like silkworm is disease and we need to take action. It is done very manually and by some experienced farmers only, which causes the loss to the farmers. And after some of the research paper also work on it, on this subject, which but it only predicts if the silkworm is disease or undiseased. It does not tells us that which disease the silkworm has. So we are looking forward to create a model which will predict which disease the silkworm has, on base of which farmer will be able to take action. And so we came across the many research papers which has a automated system. According to the threshold values in the cloud, they are able to control the environment around the silkworms. Like if the humidity is less, then the water will be sprayed on the silkworms to maintain the humidity. If the temperature is very hot, then the fans and the ACs are used to control and to cool down the temperatures. So this is our proposed architecture. The green part that in this diagram is how we are collecting our data, and then training on it, training the model on it. And the blue part is the how our application would work. So user will be able to upload the images, and by using that images, our model will predict if what disease the silkworm has, and farmer will be able to take some actions to prevent the damage. So it is just to explain the above diagram. So for the automated system, according to many research paper we came across, the sensors collect the data of the environment around the silkworms. Then intelligent model compares it with the thresholds in the cloud, and then proper decision is taken whether to turn on the fan or the basically which actuator to be activated to control the environment around silkworms. So enhance productivity, sustainable productions, and enhance productivity in the sense the yield of the farmers will be increased using this our technology. So future work should be done in the research paper we came across during our researches, has a very less sample size, like 250 images or some kind of 300 images, which is very less for the image detection and prediction of disease. So we need a large data set to accurately predict the disease and increase the efficiency of the model. We also need to predict on different diseases, like some of the previous research papers only predict if the silkworm is healthy or unhealthy, and some of them only predict the one disease, if it has a pebrine or if it has the muscardine. But we are looking forward to develop a model which can predict at least 4 diseases which are many common in the silkworm, like pebrine, muscardine, grassery, and flachery. So farmer will be able to save their silkworms. Thank you. Any questions?
Right. Thank you for that presentation, Rushikesh. For my question, so just to be clear, did you actually implement the neural network?
No, sir. We haven't actually implemented that. We are researching on that, and we have collected like 400 to 500 images now, and we are implementing different models like CNN and random forest to predict the disease, and looking which one is much accurate. We will be soon making another research paper on it, for like which algorithm is very efficient for this kind of model.
So basically, your paper is about your plans. It's not yet implemented.
Yes, sir. It is about the previous research which has been done upon
Alright.
this subject, and a future plan of our project, what we will be doing.
It's a lit review paper, so to speak. It's not really about what you did because you haven't implemented it yet.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see. Last question, because you mentioned an IoT system here. So you have a slide which mentions IoT, and you also have a slide which is about machine learning. Is there going to be a connection between the two, or are they two different systems, but they are both for silkworm production? What is it like? Because you have an IoT system and then you have a machine learning system. Are they
Yes.
connected in any way?
Yes, sir. In some research paper, it is only automated system, and in some research paper, it is only like machine learning focus. And in some paper, they both are integrated. So we are looking forward to integrate the both systems. While what our part would be in this research is that overcoming the problem that all of the system till now only predict the one disease, or only predict that if the silkworm is disease or undiseased. We will be going further and predicting what disease silkworm is having, so farmer will be able to take more accurate actions, and will be able to increase the yield.
All right, that's all for me. Thank you very much, Rishikesh.
Thank you, sir.
Are there questions from the audience regarding this paper? Okay, I think that's it, Anisha.
Yeah. Thank you. So moving on, we have the next presenter, Parth Modwadia, with the paper titled Empowering Road Safety Analysis Statewide Accident Data Visualization with Power BI. Do we have Parth in the session?
Hello. Hello. Am
Yes.
I audible? Am I audible?
I think
Yes,
he
you're
is
audible. You
Mr.
can
1, 2,
start.
3, 4, 5, 6. So
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So let me see. So good morning, everyone. My name is Parth Modwadia, and today I am presenting our research paper titled Empowering Road Analysis, Safety Analysis, State-wise Accident Data Visualization with Power BI, prepared in collaboration with my co-authors Arshil Kotia, Nishat Sheikh, and Jalpesh Vasa from Charles University of Science and Technology from India. So the aim of this presentation is to highlight the how advanced data visualization and technical techniques can help us better understand the Indian road accident trends and contribution to safer policy and decisions. So let's start. Slide 1. So research objectives. Our research has four main objectives. First, to analyze the multiple year accident data between 2017 and 2021 at national, state, and city levels. Second is to identify the high risk states and key accident patterns so we can improve that. Third is to assess the impact of government policies and especially the Motor Vehicle Act of 2019 and COVID-19 restrictions. And finally, to create interactive dashboard in Power BI that allows real-time insights and decision making. So next slide. Literature insights. So there are mainly three papers. First is WHO Global Studies, in which according to WHO, India has the highest number of road accident fatalities worldwide, over 1.5 lakh deaths in 2019 alone. So second is the Save Life Foundation research. So that reveals that 80% of accidents are caused by human errors and human mistakes, which highlights the urgent need for the behavioral changes. Third, finally, prior work shown that visual tool like Power BI and GIS are powerful for converting raw data into the actionable and graphs for getting insights of the data. Third, so data collection and quality processes. Uh, our primary data source was data.gov.in, in which all the uh, our India data are there, which we can get for free. So for this analysis, we have get that data. The process involved data cleaning and integration, such as removing duplicate entries, standardizing format, and validating fields. We then perform the cross verification with official reports from the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway to ensure the reliability. Finally, we transform the data into a format that was ready for visualization and analysis in Power BI. For national trends between 2017 and 2021. So now let us look at trends. One key observation stand out that in 2022, during the COVID-19 lockdown, accident declined sharply by 26.6%. However, the fatality rate did not drop prosperously, meaning that although fewer accidents occurred, there is the severity increased. So this highlights that policy measurements can affect accident frequently, but drivers' behavior and conditions are still same. Slide 6. State-wise accident distribution and patterns. So when we break the data state by state, we find three categories. High-risk states like Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Karnataka reported the highest accident count. Moderate risk includes Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, and lower risk regions like Sikkim, Lakshadweep, Diu, Daman, because these are the small area states. In 2021, specifically, Uttar Pradesh recorded nearly 37,000 accidents. Now, road accident analysis. This is Uttar Pradesh 37,000, almost around 37,000. Tamil Nadu 55,000. Madhya Pradesh 48,000. And these are the lower states like Nagaland, Diu, Daman, and Ladakh. So, pandemic recovery. So our analysis identify four major contributions to accidents. First is overspeeding, the leading cause, increasing severely, reducing reaction. Careless driving, often due to the distraction like mobile use and risk overtaking. Drunken driving, responsible for 9.5 of 9.5 of the accident and nearly 10% of deaths. And infrastructure issue like poor roads and conditions, potholes, and like weather issues are very severe. So contributing factors. Yeah, this is still same. Overspeeding, careless driving, drunken drive, as I said, infrastructure issue. As a conclusion, our 5 years analysis highlight three key main messages. First is human error remain the dominant cause of the road accident in India. Second, although the policies are like lockdowns and the Motor Vehicle Act have shown that short-term impacts, but long-term changes require the stricter enforcement, better infrastructure, and continuous monitoring. And third, awareness and behavioral changes among the citizen is just as important as government policies. Our only through combined efforts and involving policies by getting uh, data analysis, and we can make a better laws for this, and can reduce road accident severely.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for this presentation.
Yes.
I'm just curious, could you go back a few slides?
Okay.
Or you
Sorry.
stop sharing your screen?
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so for the next slide, sorry, if you could go to the next
Yeah.
slide.
Next slide. Okay.
Yes, for this one,
Now.
I'm just curious because you mentioned that highest impact states and lowest impact
Yes.
states.
Yes.
These are absolute numbers, right? We're
Yes.
talking about total road accidents.
Yes. Yes.
Didn't why did you not consider normalizing the values? Because I think in India, the different states are of
Yeah.
different sizes and of different populations.
Yeah.
So
By
as you could
area or
imagine, the bigger
yeah.
the state or the bigger the city is, the more cars there are probably.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the higher the chances, I think you kind of know where I'm getting at. So
Yeah. Yeah.
did
Yeah.
you consider
By
normalizing the data?
yes. 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 We can do that by area or by population. Yeah.
Right. I think that's just my main concern with regards to this. Okay.
Right.
Because even if the numbers are low, so for example, in
Okay.
Nagaland, you have
Yes. Yes.
746 total road accidents,
Mm.
but if you only have 2,000 vehicles there, then it's a freakishly high
Yeah.
value,
That's
as you
right.
could imagine. In contrast to Uttar Pradesh, even if you have 37,000 total road accidents, but if you have a million or even
Yes.
10
Yes.
million
Uh,
vehicles, then
mm.
it tells a totally different
Yeah. Yeah.
story.
Mm.
So that's maybe something that you could consider in the next iteration of this study,
Right.
normalizing the data.
Okay. Right.
That's it from me. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh,
Any other
any other
questions?
comments from the audience? All right. If there are no more comments, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Moving forward to the next presenter, we have Hector Rafael Murano Okuno with the paper titled Exploring Large Language Models to Assist Finite Element Analysis. Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hector Morano. I work for Tecnológica de Monterrey in Mexico. The title of this presentation is Exploring Large Language Models to Assist Finite Element Analysis. So here we have the agenda I'm going to follow. First, I will provide a brief introduction to the article. Then I will mention the objectives of this work. Subsequently, I will describe the methodology that we use. And finally, I will share the conclusions and future work. So nowadays, large language models are utilized in various fields of knowledge to assist users in performing tasks after being prompted with a question. However, further exploration is needed to determine their scope, as they are constantly being trained to improve and enhance their capabilities. So this article investigates the use of an LLM to determine whether it can assist users in interpreting results from finite element analysis and suggest modifications to the analysis part to improve the results of this analysis. So the objectives of this work were, the first one was to determine whether the LLM use can assist users in interpreting results from finite element analysis. The second one was to investigate whether the LLM can suggest modification to the analysis part to improve the results of the said analysis. And finally, the last one was to use the results obtained to suggest a sequence of steps for using LLMs and assist agents in finite element analysis. So now I will describe the methodology and its main components. The LLM used was ChatGPT, employed the GPT-4 Turbo model. The computing resources consisted of laptops with Intel i7 processor operating at 2.5 gigahertz and 32 gigabytes of RAM. The software used for the finite element analysis was Fusion 360, as free licenses are available for students. So this work was conducted during the Cyber Physical System course from August to December 2024 with 26 students. So we can see the methodology that we employed. It consisted of a sequence of 5 steps to achieve the research objectives. So initially, the LLM was provided with some images of the different beam configurations, as shown in figure 2, and it was asked to describe them. Then, subsequently, the LLM was provided with a basic beam to assess its initial performance. The characteristics of a cantilever beam with fixed supports and at the left end and a point load of minus 200 newtons applied at the free end on the right. It is a solid square bar measuring 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters and 100 centimeters long. So the material was 1015 steel. So user asks the LLM to help calculate the maximum deflection and the von Mises stresses. So in figure 3, we can see the beam described for calculating its maximum deflection. To corroborate the LLM results, this same analysis was performed using the Fusion 360 software application. The next step in the methodology was to instruct the LLM to consider the previous beam and ask to interpret the finite element analysis results, as we can see in figure 4, reporting what it observed, including whether the beam would fail or could withstand a 400 Newton load. The LLM was then provided with the mesh parameters from the Fusion 360 simulation of the beam and asked to recommend mesh value that could improve the von Mises stress results. So in figure 5, we can see the image supplied to the LLM to interpret the current finite element analysis mesh parameters and generate the suggestions. So finally, using the prompt shown in this figure, the LLM was given the requirements for a beam design and asked to assist the user with possible modification to the cross-section dimensions or probably with different geometries. So the LLM was able to easily recognize the images and describe each one, mentioning the configuration type, the support use, also the load types, providing a brief description. So the results are summarized in this table. So using the beam specification described in figure 3, the LLM calculated the maximum deflection, the von Mises stresses, and the minimum safety factor. And to verify the results, the finite element analysis was also solved using the Fusion 360 software application. So in this table, we display both results. So we can see the Fusion 360 results are a little bit incorrect because the mesh used to solve the system was not modified. In contrast, the LLM results are more accurate since the content equations were used for their calculations. Once the mesh parameters were displayed, the LLM made suggestions regarding parameters to achieve better finite element analysis results. So table 3 presents the original mesh parameters and the recommended value along with the reasons for the suggestions. So also to facilitate calculations, the LLM proposed using a square cross-section beam. So here we have the conclusions. The LLM use can identify 2D beam diagrams, images, subject to different loads and different types of support, describing their properties and applications. It can also interpret the result of finite element analysis, providing recommendations for improving mesh quality using different parameters. Another capability of the LLM use is that it can offer geometry alternatives as well as optimal dimensions for defining beam cross-sections to support a specific load and meet a specific safety factor. On the other hand, students can easily use LLMs to assist in interpreting the results of their finite element classes, as well as to reinforce their learning. However, the user must have a basic understanding of finite element analysis to determine whether the observations made by the LLM are accurate, as a results provided by the LLM can sometimes be incorrect. As future work, we distinguish the following task. It is suggested to investigate whether the LLMs can identify images of 3D beam with different supports and loads. In addition to evaluating whether it is feasible for LLMs to assist inexperienced users in interpreting finite element analysis results so that they can make the necessary modifications to be cross-sections to optimize set beam arrangements. So that's it. So thank you very much. If there are some questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
All right, thank you very much, Hector, for that presentation. Very organized. Just a few questions from my end. Firstly, what ChatGPT version is this? Because I think, is this 3.5, 4?
4.
4. Okay. So basically, for this specific prompt, for this specific application, as per your previous slide, ChatGPT was able to provide satisfactory answers to the question, right? Better than Fusion 360, according to you.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and you know that because the students or yourself computed the correct answers by hand beforehand?
Yes, we calculated also by hand. It was a basic problem, so it was easy to calculate.
I see.
But also ChatGPT gave us the same equations.
I see. Okay. I actually like one of the last things that you said, that we still have to be very careful regarding the output of ChatGPT. Off the top of your head, what possible questions in or problems in this field do you think ChatGPT would have a hard time answering?
No, we got the results very fast.
Okay.
But sometimes the results were not correct
I see.
because
Okay.
some ambiguities, but not because of the LLM. We didn't provide enough information to the LLM.
Okay. So provided that the input is correct to the LLM, based from your experience or experiments, it gets the answer right all of the time.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Interesting. That's it from me. Do we have questions from our audience? Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the presentation. Moving forward to the next presenter, we have Hitarth Bhatt with the paper titled Forecasting Inflation and Stock Prices in India's Energy Sector, a Comparative Analysis of Classical and Deep Learning Models.
Hello, greetings to everyone. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so our research product is basically forecasting stock prices under the influence of inflation in the energy sector. So basically, there is a general assumption that time series models, which are systematically built to work on time-related data, which are collected at particular timestamps like hourly, monthly, daily, should perform better compared to other models. But based on our research, we actually found out that deep learning models were actually performing better. Our main objectives of the research was to compare classical time series models like ARIMA, SHARIMA, hot winters, also known as exponential smoothing, profit, and VAR against machine learning models like LSTM and LSTM with attention. We took three stocks for comparison: ONGC, which is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, owned by the government of India. It is a pure energy firm, and it basically converts crude oil and natural gas into energy. The other stock we took is NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, also owned by the government of India. It is also a pure energy stock, and it converts thermal power into energy. A third stock is RELI, which is Reliance and owned by Reliance Industry Limited. It is basically a diversified stock which contains oil to chemicals like petrol and diesel, telecom, retail, and other renewable and digital services. Our main idea to incorporate RELI was to check if diversified companies are better insulated against inflation and energy prices. And all the data was collected from January 2015 to February 2024, and we did a forecasting from March 2024 to August 2024. The inflation measure was taken by the energy price index, which data was collected from the World Bank inflation database. So this is basically our methodology where we collected data from the stock data was basically collected from White Finance Library in Python, investing.com, and National Stock Exchange. And inflation data was collected from World Bank. And after that, we did EDA basically to understand the characteristics of the data we collected. On that, we performed stationarity test using ADF, augmented digger filter test. On that, we actually found out that all the data we collected of the three stocks failed the test. So we had to incorporate a differencing method to basically subtract the current value from the previous values to remove any seasonality to give better and accurate results. We divided the data into an 80-20 split, 80% for training and 20% for testing. After that, we performed pre-processing where we handled missing values. For stock prices, we used forward fill. Forward fill basically fills any missing value by the previous valid value. And we also used interpolation to handle the missing values in this inflation. The models we compared were ARIMA, which is a good model when it comes to understand linear trends and autocorrelation. And Sarima, which is an extension of Arima, which incorporates seasonal cycles, exponential smoothing. It decomposes the data into levels, trends, and seasonality for short-term forecasting. Profit is it is a flexible model which can handle trend shift, can incorporate any holidays or multiple seasonalities. And VAR is basically used to incorporate multiple time series, in this case, stock prices and inflation data. Other than that, the deep learning models we introduced was LSTM, which is used to capture long-term dependencies of sequential data, and LSTM with attention, which incorporates an attention mechanism, which focuses on the most important time steps in our scenario. We also used ADF and PSCF test on ARIMA and SARIMA to find the appropriate lag parameters. There were multiple evaluation metrics used like MAE, RMSE, MSE, and R square, out of which RMSE was the main one that we used while predicting and forecasting the stock values, whereas R square, MAE, and MAC was used to find the appropriate lag parameters of ARIMA and SARIMA. Based on our results, first we only used classical models on time series data, on which we found out that uh, hot winters also known as exponential smoothing, performed well, and profit performed even better with 0.73 RMSE, and VAR performed really bad with 3.68. Since we were incorporating inflation and stock prices, which are two different time series, we had to use VAR as a representative of classical time series models, upon which we found out that the RMSE of VAR was extremely bad, and compared to LSTM and LSTM with attention performed comparatively better. As you can see on the screen, for predictable stock like ONGC, LSTM performed better, whereas for more volatile stocks which changes regularly with time like NTPC and RELI, LSTM with attention layer actually performed better. Through which we came up with a conclusion that LSTM with attention models usually performs better compared to the normal LSTM model. And we also understood that pure energy sector, pure energy companies like ONGC and NTPC are more volatile and more sensitive to the energy inflation compared to RELI. Like I said, diversified stocks have a weaker correlation to the energy inflation, and classical models usually perform better when it comes to predicting only inflation, whereas deep learning models perform better at both the stages and a combined ODM. In future work, researchers can extend our project using hybrid models like ARIMA plus LSTM, where ARIMA can be used to handle the linear dependencies and LSTM can be used to understand the hidden patterns and the non-linear trends. We can also incorporate TLSTM, which stands for temporal LSTM, used to detect temporal patterns and any outliers. And this project was only focused on the energy sector. In future, people can also incorporate other sectors such as finance and retail, telecom, and a combination of all, preferably, and incorporate other macroeconomical factors like GDP, interest rate, market condition, and geopolitical risk. While developing this project, these were the papers and other projects we researched which helped us guide through developing our project. Thank you. I'm open to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much for that presentation. Very relevant and very interesting. I'm interested particularly in one of the last things that you mentioned. In your future work, you mentioned you could possibly incorporate interest rates and geopolitical tensions or situations. Is that right?
Yes.
How do you envision incorporating that? Because interest rates obviously are numbers, right? And as well as inflation and all of those other things. But geopolitical unrest
Yes.
Could you give us
So
an idea on how that could possibly be
no. So
incorporated into a model?
geopolitical risk, there are actually two ways in which you can incorporate geopolitical risk. One is there is public data available at GDENT website, which can be used. And other than that, we can create another sentiment model, which basically, if we are predicting only for India, then we can incorporate many newspapers that covers all the geopolitical issues or things going on, and based on that, we can perform sentiment analysis, assign appropriate weights, and understand, basically create all the textual data into a numerical data.
All right, that's a very good idea. I like that. All right, that's it from me. That's my only question. Thank you very much. How about the others from the audience? Anisha, I think that's it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
presentation. Yeah, moving on to the next presenter, we have Geeta Safitri with the paper titled From Perception to Adoption, a Model of Trust and Intention to Use for Digital Payment Solutions.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished organizer of the 4th World Conference of Information System for Business Management, or ISBM, and all the presenters here joining from this meeting. On this occasion, I'm going to present our research with the title of From Perception to Adoption, a Model of Trust and Intention to Use for Digital Payment Solution. And the authors of this study are Stani Dewanti Rahata, Meta Barabarutu, Indra Swari Ratno Hardini, and myself, Gita Safitri from Jakarta, Indonesia. Digital Buy Now Pay Later or BNPL has become a very popular financing option, and Indonesia itself, one of the most widely adopted services is Shopee Pay Later, which allows users to make purchases and pay later within the Shopee e-commerce platform. In our study, we focus on examining several key factors that may influence whether people will trust and intend to use Shopee Pay Later. The technology acceptance model suggests that ease of use and usefulness are strong predictors of technology adoption. However, when it comes to the financial technologies, users may also concern about data security and also risk. This concern could significantly shape their level of trust and ultimately their decision to use or not use the services. So we look at the perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, perceived risk, perceived security that influence user trust and user intention to adopt the service. In this study, we applied a non-probability purposive sampling technique, collecting data from the 250 respondents. The data were collected from the online survey using 6-point Likert scale from the strongly disagree to strongly agree, with respondents screened to be above 17 years old. And for the measurement development, we refer to the Tahir Dus and Losey, and the measurement model was tested for the reliability and validity. The validity threshold was set at 0.6, and while the reliability was set at 0.5. And the composite reliability should exit on the 0.7, and the AVE value should be above 0.5. And these criteria ensure that our construct were both valid and reliable. And finally, as you can see here at the figure 1, present the conceptual framework consisting perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, perceived risk, and also perceived security, user trust, and intention to use, along with the proposed hypothesis. Before we jump into our discussion, this is the demographic profile of our respondents. Out of the 250 participants, the majority was female, around 72%, and most fell in the age group of 20 to 23 years old, which made up to the 82% of the sample. In the term of the usage, half of respondents had never used Shopee Pay Later but were aware and familiar with the services. And then the 36% used it 1 or 2 times at least, and only a small portion used it more frequently. And for income, the largest group at the between 1 and 2.5 million rupiah per month. And the hypothesis testing result, we found that perceived usefulness had a significant impact both on the trust and the intention to use, confirming that it's a key driver of the user trust and intention to use. And here is the findings. The first one is the study shows that perceived ease of use has no substantial impact on the user trust, even though it has a positive direction of influence. And in the technology acceptance models, perceived ease of use is often considered as a factor that increases user trust and in the system, especially in the early stages of the interaction. But in this context, and the digital financial services such as Shopee Pay Later, with the respondent that we gather, the effect of the variable does not seem to be strong enough to form user trust directly. Therefore, its of use may only play an indirect role, and its relevance becomes small when other factors are more dominant in forming trust. And then, perceived ease of use does not significantly influence the intention to use, despite the positive direction of the relationship. And this study indicate that perceived ease of use is no longer consideration in the user decision. This can be explained by the condition that most users already quite familiar and accustomed by e-commerce system, including the feature of the Shopee Pay Later. And in other words, the ease of use has become something that is taken for granted or even expected before. So it no longer has a significant influence on the user intention. In this situation, the user already have knowledge and habit about using the similar technologies, and the ease of use factor is no longer the main consideration in the decision making, but more like to be influenced by other factors that cannot be described in the study. And then the perceived usefulness plays a crucial role in shaping both user trust and intention to use Shopee Pay Later. The more benefit user experience, such as transaction ease, payment flexibility, and time efficiency, the stronger their trust in the system becomes. This shows that perceived usefulness not only drive intention, but also directly build trust in digital financial services. When the user feels like the service will truly help them to achieve their goals, they naturally develop the confidence in the quality and reliability. And then the next one is that this study suggests that even though the user are aware about potential risks such as data security and financial loss, they still remain strong trust in the Shopee Pay Later. This trust may come from the platform established reputation and the institutional credibility, which help minimize concern about risk. This study also found that users still show strong interest in using the Shopee Pay Later despite being aware of the risk like late payments or data misuse. This suggests that risk is no longer a major concern, but more likely the service, because is integrated with the trusted system or the trusted platform. Perceived security also significantly strengthen the trust, where the confidence in data protection and system reliability build user comfort and trust in the Shopee Pay Later. And also the study found that perceived security has no significant effect on the intention to use, because user might view a security as a given and focus on the other factors. And lastly, the user trust does not significantly drive intention to use, because it serves as a baseline, while practical benefits like usefulness more like play a stronger role. And then in the term of practical implication, our findings suggest that service providers should really pay attention to the two main aspects. The first one is the usefulness, making sure that the service truly adds value to the users. And also the second one, which is as important as the usefulness, is the data security. By strengthening those two areas, those two factors might help foster the user trust and also encourage further adoption. And of course, this study has some limitation, because we only focus on the one platform, which is a Shopee Pay Later users in Indonesia. So the findings may not fully represent other markets. In addition, the sample was also concentrated in the younger demographic, specifically between 20 and 23 years old. So this data means the result might not reflect the perspective of the older users. And for the future research, researchers could also incorporate additional constructs such as institutional trust, financial literacy, or even perceived financial cost, because this is related to the financial digital payment. This variable could provide a more comprehensive understanding of what drives trust and adoption in digital payment solution. Thank you. I'll give back to the
All right, Gita, thank you for that
organizers.
very informative presentation. I do have a very simple question. Could you explain, for the benefit of everyone in the room, what exactly is the risk associated with using this buy now, pay later scheme? Because the way that I see it, in that situation, right, the one who's doing the lending of the money, the one who's lending the money, it's actually Shopee lending the user money, right? So for example, I utilize this buy now pay later scheme. So I get the bike or whatever it is I'm buying. I don't pay you. So when you think about it, the risk is over at your side. You run the risk of me not paying you, right? So what exactly is it? What's the risk on my side? Because the way that I look at it, the way that I assume it anyway, the risk is on the lender's side. The risk is on Shopee's side. So could you clarify on that?
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for the question. Very understandable question. So the risk that might happens to us as a users is like late payment. So you will be contacting by the services on the WhatsApp or even your personal contact that you put in the services because you have to pay what you've been
What you owe.
what yeah because you loan the payment service on the service. So you will be contacted by the services. And then the other factor is if you are not paying what you already loan, the rate of the interest will be increased and it will be impacted to the financial of the users. So we use the indicator of high risk of the transaction and then the financial risk and also privacy risk because we also input the data of our ID so we can loan the payment on the Shopee Pay Later. Thank you.
But just to be
answer?
clear,
Hmm?
because obviously in Shopee, we also have Shopee here in the Philippines. You know, it's all
Okay.
throughout Southeast Asia. But if you don't utilize buy now, pay later, let's say you go for a straight payment, don't you enter your personal information anyway?
Sorry, can you make it clear the question? I don't
All right, sorry.
Okay.
So you're saying that in a buy now, pay later scheme,
Yeah.
part of the risk would be the interest rates. That's one, you mentioned that. And
Yeah.
another one would be personal information. Did you mention personal information? But if you pay it straight, like because that's an option, right? I don't want buy now, pay later. I'll buy now. I'll pay now. You still have to enter your personal information either way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you for the clarify about that. Yeah, we still need to enter the personal information, but there is what is the question? Sorry. If the
Right.
user
Well,
also
what I'm pointing at is that risk is not exclusive to buy now, pay later. It is existent even if you don't use buy now, pay later. Whenever you use Shopee, right? Even if you pay outright, there's that risk. Maybe not with regards to interest rates because that wouldn't be applicable to you. But
Yeah.
disclosing personal information, you take that risk whether you use buy now, pay later or not.
Oh yeah. So the risk that we incorporate in this study is for the only risk that happen when people use the service of the pay later. So if you don't use the Shopee Pay Later, so it doesn't count as the risk that we include to the indicators of our question to the users.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the question as well.
Any other questions from our audience? Such an interesting topic. Maybe you have questions from Miss Gita or Miss Gita. Okay, I don't think we have any questions. Thank you very much again for the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Wilson.
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. We'll be moving forward to the next presenter. Yeah. We have Butsaba Incu with the paper titled Machine Learning Based Clustering for Tuberculosis Patient Segmentation by Risk Factors and Symptom Profiles, a case study of Nagaur District, Lampang.
Can you see presentation?
No, it's not visible yet.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Musbai Inkyo from the Ngao District Public Health Office. Today, I will present our study on machine learning-based catering for tuberculosis
We
patients.
cannot see your screen yet. Can you please share the PPT?
See my presentation?
Yes, it's visible now.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Busbai Inkyo from the Ngao District Public Health Office. Today, I will present our study on machine learning-based catering for tuberculosis patient segmentation by risk factor and symptom profile, a case study of Ngao District, Lampang. For tuberculosis remain one of the biggest global health problems. For instance, in 2022, there were 10.6 million new cases and over 1.3 million deaths worldwide. Similarly, in Thailand, TB is still common, particularly in rural areas in Ngao district. We observed an increase in TB cases in 2004, which was driven by factors such as multi-generational household migration and crowded workplace. Canary screen and contact tracing method remain basic patient data is scattered across different sources and often inconcentrate. Also, traditional methods usually analyze single factor at a time, which can miss important interactions. This is where machine learning can help. It can classify high-risk groups, identify patterns in the data, and improve how we assess infection risk. This opens the door to proactive strategy and better TB prevention. Next to research objective. Our study has three main objectives. First, we collected and examined data on tuberculosis patients in Ngao District, Lampang Province, and developed a prototype dataset to support efficient data management. Second, we developed and compare k-mean and hierarchical clustering algorithm to classify patients based on risk factor and identify meaningful grouping. Finally, we assess the quality of the model datasets and interprets their characteristics, describe the pattern and feature of its group. In the next section, research framework. Here is our research framework. We started with data collection from TB patient and check X-ray record. There we prepare the data including cleaning and handling machine value. After that, we apply clustering analysis to classify patients into groups. Finally, we evaluated the performance of the clustering and interpreted the results in the following the data collection. We use two main sources of data. The TB patient registry included 899 patients with information like age, comorbidity, symptom, BMI, treatment, and healthcare facility. The Check X-ray dataset has over 15,000 records, including gender X-ray finding, diagnostic outcome, and clinician recommendation. Together, these two datasets give us both clinical and community level insights. Moving on the data preparation. Before we close machine learning, we had to prepare the data, the three main steps. First, we create it by removing duplicate and standardizing format. Second, we handle machine value experientially for BMI wedge and high using implementation method. Third, we did feature engineering, meaning we created new variables such as age group, BMI categories, and risk indicator. This means the dataset much more useful for analysis. Go to clustering step. Our clustering process has 5 main steps. Step 1, integrating data from different sources and cleaning it. Step 2, handling machine value and creating new features to make the dataset richer. Step 3, normalizing the data, which means making sure variables with different scale could be compared fairly. Step 4, use k-mean list, k-mean plus annotation to avoid suboptimal solution. Cluster number from 2 to 10 were tested and the best case was cruising using the elbow method, silhouette score, and Darby body index. ensuring robust and clear clustering result. Step 5 was evaluate the cluster using metric such as the silhouette score, Darby-Bodin index, and Kalinsky-Harabas index to ensure they were accurate and meaningful. In the next result analysis section, we analyzed two key datasets, the TB registry contained X99 cases with information such as age, community, BMI symptom, and treatment detail. Although gender data was not available, the X-ray dataset was much larger, with over 15,000 records. It included demographic detail, X-ray finding, diagnostic outcome, and clinician recommendation, with most examination connected through mobile units in rural area. Together, these datasets complemented each other. The registry provided clinical detail on confirmed cases, while the check X-ray datasets reported large-scale community screening. The registry shows most TB cases were in adult age 50 to 70, average 61 years. Many has community like diabetes and child of undernutrition. Is also track treatment and healthcare facility, making it a valuable resource for identifying patient risk patterns. The set X-ray data sets included patients of all ages, mostly between 55 and 70, and both gender is recorded finding like fibrosis, filo, infusion, and other lung abnormality, along with clinicians. Follow-up or treatment recommendation is large community-based nature offer broader insights into TB risk beyond confirmed cases. For optimal cluster analysis, we tested 2 to 5 cluster and found that 3 cluster were optimal. This gives the highest silhouette score, lower DBI, and strongest CHI, indicating the most reliable and interpretable result for this dataset for base model. K equal to 3 is the best clustering option for this dataset. Here are the results. The 3 clusters were almost equal in size, 320 to 90 and 289 patients. This balance is important because it shows that patients are not concentrated in just one list group. Instead, they are diverse subgroups with different characteristics. We will now,
Before the interruption,
we will now
9 minutes gentle reminder.
We will now discuss what does this mean. The balance cluster suggests that TB patients in Ngao district have very rich profile. For example, older adults with comorbidities need long-term monitoring, working age, and migrant population on the other hand requires longer screening and contact tracing. This finding align with study from Korea and China, which also show that machine learning can identify subgroups that need different strategy. In summary, K-mean-based clustering was effective in categorizing TB patients. We identified 3 balanced clusters. This allows us to apply targeted intervention, improve monitoring and prevention, and make better use of resources. This framework could also be applied in the regions or events other efficient disease. Our study has limitation data from in district and year machine demographic and K-mean simplicity. We also lack socio-economic and behavioral factor. In the future, we plan to expand the dataset, use advanced clustering methods, and include social and behavioral data for a thorough picture. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to any question or feedback.
Oh, thank you very much, Budsaba, for that presentation. So I do have a very simple question. So, but first, just so that I could be sure that I understood your work correctly. So you have this data regarding TB patients. All of the data are about TB patients, right? So they're all TB positive. Is that right?
So I am Thapanamong Salat, the one of the ultra team. So yes, the data is from just people around there that is not confirmed that just have got a tuberculosis is
Okay.
yes.
And then you plotted the data points in hyperspace, and then we ran clustering algorithms to see what clusters would, what's the efficient, what would be an efficient clustering. Is that right? And I think
Yeah.
that from your results, you came up with 3 clusters. So this would
Yes.
be the most efficient way of clustering the data that we have. Could you tell us what do those 3 clusters tell us? Because each cluster, well, that's the point of clustering, right? I mean, each cluster is supposed to tell us a certain characteristic or set of characteristics which would help with TB diagnosis or TB prevention. So so in this situation with 3 clusters, what are those 3 clusters?
What are the three clusters? Yeah.
Right? Because that's the point of clustering, to make
Oh
things
yeah.
sustainable, right?
All three is the risk cluster
I think
in the different
I'm sorry, you have quite a
region.
strong echo there. Maybe
Yeah, it's better. เวลาปิดลำโพงปิดไมค์ไปแล้วปิดลำโพงออก three cluster is the risk of the patient that have a different type of BMI.
okay,
Yeah,
BMI
but
is one.
yes. And the age.
The age, okay.
Yeah.
That's just 2. So what would be the third one? Sorry.
What you want to know how different on three cluster, right?
Yes. Because that's the point of clustering, right? So based on the clustering, once we're able to cluster the data, we're supposed to take insights from those clusters. So for example, maybe we could see that, oh, a lot of our dots or a lot of our points, what is common with them is that they have high BMI, which would translate to, hey, if you have high BMI, that puts you at a greater risk of having TB, something like that. So
yeah.
what do the 3 clusters tell us?
It tell that how much risk they have got. Yeah, because of the third group is have the people who get around the patient, the age and the BMI.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions from my end. Do we have questions from our audience? All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the presentation. Yeah. We'll be moving forward to the next presenter for the session. Next up, we have Ashwini VR with the paper titled Mapping Resistance to AI in Education, a Structural Analysis of Gen Z Adoption Barriers.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You can start sharing your screen.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Right. We could hear you. Please proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ashwini. Today, along with my co-author Aravinder and Dr. Shantanu Mandal sir from Amrita School of Business, I'll be presenting our research paper titled Mapping Resistance to AI in Education. Coming to the research background and rationally, AI promises to revolutionize education with a personalized and efficient learning experience. However, we have observed a paradox. Gen Z, who are digital natives, are showing persistent resistance to adapting these tools. Their concerns aren't trivial. They revolve around significant issues like data privacy, algorithmic bias, digital fatigue, and loss of personal autonomy. What's missing from the current literature is clear understanding of how these barriers connect and reinforce each other. Therefore, we aim of our study is to reframe this resistance, not as simple technophobia, but as a crucial signal that there is a systemic misalignment between the technology and the institution and from the student themselves. Coming to the next slide, here is a theoretical framework. To build the comprehensive understanding, we have integrated three key theories. First one is technology acceptance model, which is also called as TAM, that focuses on usefulness and ease of use. However, our study finds these are often outcomes, not the root causes. And the second one is resistance to innovation theory, which explains that users push back when technology feels risky or threatens their autonomy. This perfectly captures the concern around trust and privacy. And the third one will be cognitive load theory, which helps us understand how poorly designed tools can overwhelm the learners, leading to digital fatigue and avoidance. And coming to the next slide, research design and methodology. For our methodology, we have used an exploratory mixed method design to map the hierarchy among these barriers. We have collected data from around 118 Gen Z learners across India, all of whom had prior experience with the AI tools like ChatGPT and Grammarly. We have used two primary analytical tools. First one is interpretive structural modeling, ISM, which helped us to create a hierarchy of influence among these barriers, and micmac analysis. There are various barriers. So we have using micmac analysis, which classifies these barriers based on the driving power and dependence. And coming to the next slide, here we have explained the key barriers that we have explored. Our research identifies 10 key barriers. These range from foundational fears like lack of trust in AI accuracy and the students fearing inaccurate or fabricated outputs from the technology. And next one is data privacy concerns. Learners are apprehensive about academic data surveillance and potential misuse of their personal information. And the next one is algorithmic bias. Algorithmic bias is a significant concern that AI may perpetuate unfair outcomes that conflicts the Gen Z's value. And the next one is loss of autonomy. Students resist AI that seems to interfere with their choices. And the next one is digital fatigue. This is caused due to the cognitive overload from constant digital interaction that leads to the mental exhaustion. And that leads to the avoidance of AI tools. And the sixth barrier is over-reliance on AI. A prominent fear exists that becoming too dependent on AI could lead to the erosion of critical thinking skills. And next one is low perceived usefulness. It is perceived as useful if the AI is not perceived right way, the student feel that AI is insignificant in academics. And the next one is poor user interface. These are not perceived as useful
and the faculty support integration into curriculum, students will resist. And next one is low level of AI literacy. This prevents the students from effectively using these tools, these AI tools. And the next slide is about ISM and MICMAC results. Our analysis revealed that clear structure of cause and effect. The high driving barriers are the root causes. First one is lack of trust and data privacy concern, and the next one is algorithmic bias. These are the foundational issues that influence the other barriers. And the next one, coming to the linkage variable, we have found that digital fatigue emerged as the critical linkage variable. It acts as a bridge connecting these deep-seated fears to the final outcomes, like disengagement. And the last one is dependent barriers. We have found that low perceived usefulness are actually dependent barriers. These are the symptoms of these deeper unresolved problems, not the cause of resistance itself. Coming to the next slide, that is interpretation. So from this research, we can interpret that resistance is a signal of misalignment, not only as a student problem, but as a valuable feedback. And the second one is digital fatigue. It is a mechanism through which the foundational fears lead to the disengagement. And we have already seen that digital fatigue is considered to be the linkage variable from the foundational cause to the disengagement. And the next one is usefulness is an outcome, not the cause. You can't convince a student to use a tool if they don't trust in, or it exhausts them. Like we can connect it again to the digital fatigue. Finally, our foundings shows that faculty are absolutely crucial. Without their support and integration of AI into the curriculum, students will not see the relevance in using AI tools. And the next slide will be about practical implication. Our research offers clear recommendation for edutech developers. The focus must be on creating transparent, inclusive, and cognitively light tools that won't exhaust the users. And the next one is for educators and institutions. It's essential to provide structural onboarding and integrate AI into the curriculum with clear user cases. Faculty endorsement is critical for students to use AI tools. And for policymakers, the priority should be establishing strong governance framework for data privacy and bias, while also promoting AI literacy as a foundational skill for all students. Ultimately, the overall strategy must shift from trying to persuade students to designing systems that are responsive to their legitimate concern. So the shift should be from students to the designing system. And the coming to the conclusion part. In conclusion, our research shows that Gen Z's resistance to AI is a vital signal of unmet needs and misalignment between the technology, the teaching, the student, and their expectation. To move forward, we must address the foundational barriers like trust, privacy, and cognitive overload, first of all. And for future work, we suggest that longitudinal studies to track how these attitudes evolve, comparative studies with Gen Alpha, and using quantitative methods like SEM to validate our structural model. Here, the longitudinal studies says that studying the same Gen Z group for over a different period of time will give them the better result, and comparing with the Zen Alpha will also help them to come into a better conclusion. And this slide is about the references. Thank you all.
All right, thank you very much, Aishwini, for that presentation. Very interesting. Quick question though, I'm not sure whether I just missed this. So in the course of this study, how many students were involved? Like,
sir, we have conducted the survey for around 118 students across India.
118 across India. Okay. So And then were they interviewed, or did you have them answer survey questions or
Survey questions, sir.
survey questions? So
Yes,
all
sir.
of those 118, what was the first step in your study? Um did you classify them into those who use AI and those who don't?
Yes, sir. We have
So
only used the Gen Zs that are already familiar with AI tools like ChatGPT, Grammarly, and other AI tools. So, which are
okay, so all of those 118, all of them use AI tools already.
yes, sir.
Okay. Um, and so basically you asked them, all the 118 students already use AI tools, but you asked them what is preventing them from using AI tools more? Is that the line of questioning?
No, sir. Actually, AI they are already familiar with AI tools. So,
Mm-mm.
what are the barriers they are facing in integrating AI in their daily use? Some of them are saying that they are scared about privacy concerns, like misuse of data of their own. Like they are concerned about their data privacy concern. Because of that, they are not using AI in their daily use. So these are the barriers we have found from.
I see. Did did we interview, or sorry, not interview, do we have data regarding users who have heard of ChatGPT, for example, but are not using ChatGPT?
No, sir. We have only taken this away from the person who are already familiar with AI tools.
And have used AI tools?
Yes,
Um,
familiar with
I
familiar.
wonder though whether it would be fruitful for us or for you guys to ask these questions from the people who are not using AI tools at all. Because after all, they're the ones who are not using the AI tools, right? I mean,
Yes, sir. But the person who are not using AI tools may not uh, may not see this survey as an useful for them, right? So we have only interviewed. We have taken the data from the one who is already familiar with AI tools, but the one who are facing difficulties in using it.
okay. It's just that I think it would be a lot more fruitful if we, for example, we find the cohort of people, digitally literate, who don't use ChatGPT and ask them why. Why aren't you using ChatGPT? I mean, I think, at least in my opinion, that's more fruitful than asking ChatGPT users regarding barriers. Okay, that's my opinion. You might want to think about that. Okay. I have no questions regarding, I mean, I don't question the frameworks and that you mentioned. Okay, that seems fine. I think my primary point of concern is the subject of the study, right? I mean, I think it would have been fruitful if we investigate digitally literate users who don't use AI tools and simply ask them why. You already know how to use a computer. Why aren't you using ChatGPT? It's free. What are your reasons? Okay. Anyway, that's just an input from my side. Any other comments from our audience? Again, a very interesting talk. Okay. Very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the presentation. Moving forward to the next presenter for the session. We have B. Satish Kumar with the paper titled Unveiling Barriers to Sustainable Fashion Consumption Among Gen Z.
I'm audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes. Hello.
Yep, we could see your screen. Please proceed.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Satish, and with my team, me and Prabhuram, our topic is like unveiling barriers to sustainable fashion consumption among the Gen Z. This study is talked about like why Gen Z is dispute gaining the social awareness and still struggle to adopt the sustainable fashion in India. Like, I like to say, uh, so in the end, like the fashion industry is one of the world's largest populator in India. Like we can say that we are using the water and intensive cotton production, textile waste, and carbon emission. And these are the things, and the fast fashion, like rapidly with the cheap and rapidly changing style has uh, intensely issues and encouraging the overconsumption and responsibility and the Gen Zs. Like Gen Z is often called as social aware and this sustainably minded. They are cared about the climate change and ethanol consumption, but in practice they are adopting the sustainable fashion and surprisingly low. Like the we can say that the Indian conduct the traditional ethical roots and global fast fashion and attitude behavior gap and the strong awareness is a weekly sustainable choice. Is the question arise like what barriers stop the Gen Zs from the acting of their values? And next slide, like research objectives. In that, we did the first thing like set up the uh, identity and classify the barrier that prevent the Gen Z from the acting on their sustainability intention. And next is the distinguishing between the foundation and barriers, like the root and surface. And coming up, the next is like analyze we did how the barriers by using ISM and McMac, the framework which help us to see the which barrier drives and which are one another dependent. And the third is like they did that theory of planned behavior and resistant to innovation, the framework which gives the theoretically explanation, which gives the resistant occurs to which and it's a guide of the stakeholder, which brand and educate the policymaker. Which should they do? And next is the theoretic framework we did. The first is coming like a theory of planned behavior. In this, like the attitude, what people think about the sustainable fashion, positive or negative. And second, we did like that subjective norms, like the influencer of peers and the social group and or the culture explanation. For example, if a friend or the influencer are wearing the fast fashion, the individual may feel like pressured or do the same thing, so like that. And preserved behavior, controlled, and these make the Gen Z feel the capable of choice their fashion. And resistant than the innovation theory, like the functional barriers, the high price and the low availability, inconvenience, and the psychological barrier, like such a perspective about the greenwashing or the feeling that individual impact is too small, and the cultural image barrier, like for example, observing the fast-moving trend or a loyalty to popular the fast fashion brand, and this makes the combined of these two theory in holistic view like help to explain the intention behavior gap for the culture resistant to keep the Gen Z ties to this fashion brand. And yeah, there's the emotional reason behind the low adoption of the sustainable fashion. And the methodology we use, like that's important because the Gen Z in India still under research purely the qualitative and cooperative approach we did, and along with that, not systematically like in urban we can see that age group we did like 18 to 27, and representing the survey we did in between the June to July, and we use technique ISM and McMac analysis which helped us to know, and which is validated through the expert feedback we got and the sustainable research and the industry practice. We get to know that methodology allowed us to not only the list of barrier, also the structurally understand how they interact with each and other, sharing the Gen Z resistant and sustainable fashion. And these are the key barrier like awareness. May the end customer still don't know the what makes the products sustainable and the availability, even the motivation of the individual struggles and the price. The dominant barrier like sustainable product are often priced higher. Gen Z being the student or early professional, they are very price sensitive. And the trend obsession, like the fashion is about the self-expression and peer influencer. Because of that, people get influenced and that greenwashing. The mistrust and arise because of the some brand is doing like a false claim of sustainability and the impact perception. Many of Gen Z feels that individual purchase is too small to impact the environment, and that convince the fast fashion is rapidly available, so affordable, the quick make, and the brand loyalty. The emotional attachment with that well-known fast brand. The Gen Z is from switched into the lesser to known, and the messaging like the sustainable communication is often unclear with a missed message, weaker trust, and reduced engagement. And coming up to the next is like we did framework, the map, how these barrier connected to this category, like divine and barrier. Availability root cause and like upstream and the foundation barriers and leakage barrier, the price and impact perception and they influenced awareness availability. These also strong influence the customer behavior. For example, like influence the barriers like and the brand loyalty concept, the dependent barriers. They represented like if the price are availability remain the challenge and the autonomous barrier, the cost like these legs connected to the structurally and formed barriers in the model is like which help us to know like the intermediate level behavioral level and like what won't work unless the upstream and structured barrier like awareness and develop. These are the analysis of micmac we can see from the first is autonomous variables and the second is dependent from 4 3.2 and that leakage variable independent. Next is like is the hierarchy of ISM with it like and loyalty and trained obsession, convince biases, the appearance. These are the hierarchy. And is come to the discussion and implication that that upstream barrier like awareness and availability, the real rights, which gives the weak and the entire system collapse, which is the awareness should be there. And the second is integrate barrier, such price and impact, the perspective is shaped by the root cause. And the third behavior outcomes, like the trend obsession, brand loyalty should be understood by symptoms, not by the root cause. Young people should attach with the fast fashion brand or these desires should be trained. And from the band we can say that um, they must focus on build the trust and avoid the greenwashing. If they say it also, they should properly do and making them sustainability options affordable. And the for the education, the educators we can say the sustainability must be edible in the fast fashion the fashion business, even the school curriculums like awareness, the long-term value, and the policymaker, they could clearly say that the tier two cities, IT, by they improve the retail access. And the customer point, we can say that Gen Z and related like engaging show how their choice matters, making the sustainable fashion and of their identity. And this come with the conclusion. Can say that it's again conclude with this study shows that while Gen Z is aware of sustainability issues, they're adopting the sustainable fashion is blocked by the web of domestic barrier and that root level. We found that awareness and availability are the real drive and its impact, and that the behavior outcomes like the trend option and the brand loyalty. And the key insight, we can say that the barriers are the actual outcome, not the root problem. So the campaign that only target the consumer behavior won't be enough. We need to the systematic solution, the tackle of systematic resistance. That means that address structure issue like just the affordability and the consistent message first. Like for the longitudinal study, the see how the barriers involves the Gen Z mature gain influence income and the massive becomes the mainstream, and the eco identity, how strongly Gen Z connect that the personal and social identity. Like the culture cross comparison, for example, the Gen Z Europe and US see the barriers as unbearably versus, and the experimental research that is the intervention stress has reduced the price, improve the transparency, and which strategically actually change the behavior. The shift will happen when the systematic barrier are addressed with the systematic solution. These are our reference. And thank you.
All right, Satish, thank you for that presentation. My questions are kind of relevant to the previous paper. I don't think this was mentioned in your slide. So this is a study on Gen Z and their adoption or non-adoption of sustainable fashion. Is that right? Did I summarize that well?
Yeah. The conception of sustainability fashion. Yes.
Okay, so how many students exactly, or how many Gen Z
We
people?
conducted a survey. We got up to 110 survey data.
110. Okay, of
Yes.
110. So
Mm.
question of those 100, point of curiosity, outside of the frameworks, now a common sense question. Of those 110 interview respondents, how many are aware of sustainable fashion or what sustainable fashion is? Could you give us a number?
Yeah, so like quite of them aware of the sustainability fashion, but if I take the number, I will say that in the survey, some of more than 40% they aware of
40,
sustainability.
okay, 40% of the 110, they're aware of what sustainable fashion is.
Mm.
Okay? And the other
Mm.
60%, they're not. I mean,
Yes,
sustainable fashion, what is that? It's like that. Is that right?
yes, sir. Mm.
Okay. So of those 40%, okay, so 40% of 110 is aware of sustainable fashion. Of that 40%, how many of that would you say do adopt sustainable fashion? Because awareness is different from adoption, right?
Yes, sir.
So could you give us an estimate? So 40% of the 110 is aware of what sustainable fashion is. Of that 40%, what's the breakdown?
Like they should that remaining 60% will let you know that what the sustainability by with that research we got with the some people are lack in the awareness of how these is clearly impact the too expensive. Some people is like for sustainability, if they wanted to buy also, that will be like too expensive, not
No,
available
no.
in their city.
Oh no, I mean, I'm asking a very high level common sense question. So of the 110, 60% are not aware of what sustainable fashion is, 40% are aware. So what I'm curious about is in that 40%, how many of them adopt or actually use sustainable fashion, and how much of them do not? Is it, for example, is it 35-5? Is it 20-20? Is it 10-30? Which one is it? Because it's quite difficult to support something that you're not aware of, right? So I'm no
Yes.
longer asking about the 60%. I'm interested about the 40%. Those with awareness, how do they approach
Sir,
this?
I think the study, we do not directly measure the adoption rate. This like how many spend the already buying the sustainability fashion. Like the instant of measuring the barrier, preventing the adaptation. But the actually adaptation is lower than because like the price sensitive and trend obsession, the availability gap, and the greenwashing is the confusing block to the rare shift because we did how many respondents are already buying the sustainable fashion.
Okay.
Those like only the small faction like adopting the sustainability faction. These the study does not give the exact number, but in that we hierarchy I showed you like in the ISM MAC3 analysis with the adoption remains limited.
Okay, maybe this is just I'm not sure where you want to take this project moving forward. Maybe just a suggestion. Because you mentioned several frameworks before.
Yes, sure.
Adopting frameworks is nice. It is definitely, it's not as if I recommend against using frameworks. Let's use frameworks as much as possible. But perhaps for future studies, we should not, maybe we could also take into account, more basic metrics.
Sir,
So
my teammate is there. He has some point like, so bro.
okay, so anyway, if we don't have the numbers, that's fine. Maybe it's something that we could take into account in the future, because as you know, the weight of the opinion of those with awareness
Yes.
is different from the opinions of those without awareness, right?
Yes.
So, for example, in those 110, we should not weigh their opinions equally. What is of interest to us is, okay, those people who are aware of sustainable fashion but are not adopting it, what's up?
Yes, sir.
What's with that? Okay?
Yes, sir.
So,
Sure.
as opposed to treating all 110 equally. So, I guess what I'm saying is, sure, let us apply these frameworks, but maybe it would be more impactful if we are more selective on what population or cohort we're going to apply this framework to.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. All right, that's it. Do we have questions from our audience? It's quite an interesting paper. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Atish.
Thank you.
Anisha, I think that's it for our session this afternoon.
Yes.
So again, I'm not sure whether I have to deliver the closing remarks, but let me do that anyway. So thank you
I'll
very much,
just
everyone. I definitely learned a lot this afternoon. I hope you have some takeaways as well. And on behalf of our organizers, ISBM, I do hope to see you again next year. Thank you very much. Thanks, Anisha.
Thank you so much for your words. So that brings us to the closing of the session, and I sincerely thank all the authors for their presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough for you all. We, on behalf of the whole team, we thank you for your support during this fourth version and all the previous 3 versions of the conference, and we'll be happy to have you in the 5th version as well in 2026. All the presenters would be receiving their digital certificates within 2 working days, and the publication will be live within 7 to 8 months. So just cooperate with the team of ISBM 2025. And at the end, I'd just also like to thank our session chair. And this is a small token of appreciation on behalf of the team of ISBM and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. So thank you for your valuable presence, sir. Just at the end, I'd like to request you all to please turn on your cameras for a quick snapshot. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. See you in the next version.
Thank you. Bye bye.